Good morning, everyone. A very good Tuesday morning to all of you. We'll start the presentation in about a couple of minutes. We're just awaiting a few more participants to join in. I see more and more participants are coming in. So we'll just give it another couple of minutes before we start. Good morning again, and we'll start the presentation in the next couple of minutes. I see attendees joining in. We'll just give them another minute or so before we start off the presentation. Please stay put. I have shared my screen. One of the participants says he sees a black screen, but you should be able to see what's on my screen right now. Is everyone able to see my screen? The opening deck? Okay, perfect. So let's begin. A very good Tuesday morning to all of you, and welcome to this webinar series on what's new in 2021. This is the infrastructure bit that I will be covering. I'm Vivek Ramesh, the Senior Technical Specialist for AEC at Autodesk. So the 2021 series for infrastructure, what is it all about? Now, I would primarily put it in three major buckets. We have improved collaboration between various stakeholders. We have improved interoperability with respect to the software that we generally use for the infrastructure bit, namely infrastructure, namely InfraWorks, Civil 3D, Revit, and Dynamo. And also automation. There is a lot of going on. There's a lot to it when you think about design automation. This is the way forward. This is the future. I mean, using Civil 3D is a great thing, but being able to use the automation feature with the Civil 3D for Dynamo for Civil 3D, you'll be able to leverage your designs in a much better manner. So what products are likely to be improved in the 2021 version for the infrastructure bit? Obviously, InfraWorks, because there's a lot going on. There's a lot going on for when it comes to InfraWorks. This is being considered as the design engine going forward, specifically for the civil structures bit. Secondly, there are a lot of improvements and enhancements and interoperability set rights for Civil 3D as well. And Revit now also considers the infrastructure elements which come in from InfraWorks, which gives us greater flexibility to go forward with customizing the look and feel of the objects that come in from InfraWorks, and be able to derive specifics like quantities for specific elements in the bridge structure. Lastly, Dynamo. Of course, there has been a lot of focus over the last year towards Civil 3D. Dynamo is being touted as the next big thing for Civil 3D users. So there is a lot of enhancements from Dynamo for Civil 3D. Really, let's have a look at that as well. So we also need to know, I really do not know the profile of the audience today, but I wanted to tell you that there are specific personas that this 2021 series of products will help in their day-to-day lives. The road and rail design engineers will definitely benefit from the changes that have occurred or the enhancements that have come in. Bridge engineers, yes, there's a large chunk for bridge engineers in the 2021 series. They will see a lot of smoothened workflows with rail and road engineers. Utility and hydrology engineers have also something to look forward to in the 2021 versions, which we'll go through. And BIM modelers. If your company has BIM modelers specific to visual programming using Dynamo, they will have a lot to look forward to inside of Civil 3D as well. So coming to what is new in InfraWorks, if I were to put it in a bucket list of things, there's a lot to look forward to, right? As you see, there are add-ins for InfraWorks, improvements for Revit InfraWorks updaters. The way information flows between InfraWorks and Revit has been updated, right? The whole workflow between InfraWorks, Civil 3D, and Revit has now been simplified. Autodesk Connector for ArcGIS, there are specific enhancements for the utility part as well. Civil structures, of course, you have workflow for civil structures that spans the three major products. If somebody says bridge design, these three products should really ring a bell. Autodesk Civil 3D, Autodesk InfraWorks, and Autodesk Revit. And now there is the ability of bridge structures to bridge deck to match the slope of the corridor that is being imported from Civil 3D. On the collaboration front, I would say a great deal has happened. The new workflow, I'll look to showcase the new workflow between InfraWorks, Civil 3D, and Revit at the later stage in this presentation. It's been a simplified workflow which gives greater control over design data, and the ability to have bridge deck slope, as I said, to match the elevation of the imported Civil 3D corridor also occurs. This helps a great deal. Data exchange with Civil 3D, mapping Civil 3D sub-assemblies in InfraWorks. If you want the Civil 3D corridors to come as it is inside of InfraWorks, there is now a component road option, and you can map all the various materials coming in from Civil 3D. Additional grading options for corridor component roads has also been added. In terms of road design, in the application options, unit configuration in the InfraWorks space, we have a US survey feed as an option. Earlier, it used to be standard. It has been set as an option. That is primarily to see the right changes in the right units inside of InfraWorks, which was erroneous a few versions earlier. Profile view. In the profile view, there you see certain elements that in the vertical geometry that cannot be changed. Earlier, we just would fiddle with that PVI, and we couldn't edit that with not knowing whether it was editable or not. Now we get a symbol saying that that curve cannot be edited owing to constraints. In general, all the toolbars are restyled, obviously, to support high DPI scaling, specifically for the 4K visualization. First things first, InfraWorks connected workflows. So what can we look forward to in the connected workflows? So there are, as I said, corridor enhancements inside of Civil 3D. Assume you're a roadway design engineer and you're designing a corridor. And once you've designed your corridor, there's a lot that goes into a Civil 3D corridor that needs to be depicted exactly as it is inside of InfraWorks as well. Now, with the new capability, we suggest you go for import Civil 3D drawing. It gives you greater control. Now you'll be able to bring in specific features, not all the features. So you can map the corridor component road. You can have the mappings for various materials so that it's a real world view of what your design looks like inside of Civil 3D. More often than not, we see this complaint coming in from civil engineers or design engineers. So the downstream functions like adding a bridge or tunnel can come automatically inside of InfraWorks. So also assume that there is a change in the way your geometry occurs. There you change any geometry inside of Civil 3D, that should be seamless inside of InfraWorks. So what it does is, now going by the active link that is there inside of InfraWorks, you can just re-import and have the geometry imported without any changes. The structural elements change accordingly without having to change a bit. So dynamically, the structural elements also change. Apart from that, you can also view your cross sections on the go, which is always been a great feature inside of InfraWorks. So this is one of the things. Whom does it help? It helps design engineers, specifically road and rail engineers. What used to happen was I always came across road design engineers or rail design engineers. They would say, I'm not getting the exact depiction of my Civil 3D corridor inside of InfraWorks. So now that issue has been ironed out to a large extent. Now you can breathe easy. This will definitely assist design engineers going forward. Secondly, InfraWorks. Enhanced civil structures workflow. Now, this has always been in the limelight over the last 2 years. The kind of enhancements that have been coming to the civil structures is mind-blowing. What we used to earlier see is a very disconnected workflow, and which the bridge engineers were not really confident of bringing it into their day-to-day work style. So Autodesk has gone a step further in smoothing out the workflow for bridge design. So what this does is, assuming you've designed a roadway project inside of Civil 3D, you can bring it inside of InfraWorks and then be able to do all the downstream functions, and then using the parametric capability of InfraWorks export, you can export the bridges to Excel spreadsheets and have them edited there. Bridge engineers like it this way. So it gives better control over the designers, what they believe. So we brought in spreadsheets for repetitive tasks. You can have fine-tune the designs this way, and also carry out a multitude of analysis, line girder analysis within InfraWorks, which gives the bridge engineers a great deal of confidence even before they move such models to other analytical software. Now you can change your designs on the go using a combination of InfraWorks, Inventor. You have the sky's the limit when it comes to optioneering. So any changes coming in from Civil 3D model structure aligns. And there's also a great deal, this I will probably show it to you in detail. The way we import information from InfraWorks to Revit has changed. I don't know how many of you have noticed. Now there is a new workflow that is that has come in place to bring in bridge models inside of Revit. So once you make the model changes inside of Revit or InfraWorks, a pop-up window occurs saying that you need to revise or update the model. Going forward, you can always ask you bridge engineers can also have a lot more of detailing and documentation inside of Revit, which is known to have saved a lot of time and effort for the bridge engineers themselves. Not only that, even for the design engineers for road and rail, the model comes up automatically and throws up a balloon window saying that design has been updated, which can be included for documentation inside of Civil 3D as well. Now, going by this methodology, it connects bridge engineers and road engineers alike, and they can be on the same page when it comes to what they're designing and what is the actual latest file or design file to look forward to. So whom does it benefit? Bridge engineers and road engineers alike. So we've seen a great deal of time savings specifically for the bridge engineers, because the kind of elements that you're bringing inside of Revit only helps you save time and effort, specifically on the documentation part or the quantification part. Now Revit also has the infrastructure category brought in that makes it much more flexible and has better control over the data you're bringing in from InfraWorks. So as I told you, there are 4 products that you can look forward to with major changes in 2021. One is Civil 3D, one is InfraWorks, then third one is Revit, right? So inside of Revit, if you see, there is a new workflow that is coming into place here. What happens is, assume you're designing a bridge, right? To create a corridor, just save your drawing. The ideal way to bring it inside of InfraWorks, we normally tend to go with the IMX file. I would suggest in this case, with the new workflow coming into place, to have better control over the elements that you're importing, please use the AutoCAD Civil 3D option. Or IMX can also be used, but I would suggest personally to use Civil 3D drawing. Now, once you bring in the data sources, it gives better control of what elements you want to bring in inside of InfraWorks. So in this case, it's just bringing the road geometry. And you can review and configure the imported road models. If you go to the Civil 3D drawing, of course, first you have to select the coordinate system. And here you have the option of choosing between a component road or corridor component road. So the corridor component road option will bring in the design road from the Civil 3D as it is. So you need to be wary of that. So you can use the common tab to specify an InfraWorks road. assembly for the imported road model. So what happens is the design coming in from Civil 3D will be depicted exactly as it is. So that's half the problem solved. So now again, you can go to your downstream functions, your bridge or your tunnel modelings. You can bring it inside of InfraWorks. And I would always suggest use, in this case, I don't know how many engineers use the power of Inventor to bring in custom components for bridges. Please also consider the usage of Inventor for bringing custom components like piers, decks, girders, and so on into InfraWorks. What this gives you is only a greater flexibility in the way you design bridges. I know every civil structure is different, so you can bring in a whole multitude of design options inside of InfraWorks as well. So the way we exported bridges has also changed. Now you see that you can't export it to Revit directly. You need to go to create new and create an IMX file. So this creates an IMX file for an export. Earlier, it used to directly get into a Revit as a Revit file. Now, there is a slight change in the way we import data inside of Revit. Now, once you go, you select the metric structural template inside of Revit, and then there is a specific add-in for importing civil structures. Now, this has every element of your bridge, deck, abutment, girder, and there's a multitude of options for abutments as well. I mean, there are about 30 plus components that have been added inside of these Revit categories. That only gives us greater flexibility and control over the kind of elements you're importing from InfraWorks. Once you import the bridge IMX file, you can directly bring it into as a Revit model and have a whole lot of things developed on top of it: annotations, documentations, reinforcement detailing, right? So this workflow has proven to be very seamless. I would suggest this workflow over the previous workflows. And with respect to annotation, with respect to design changes, with respect to quantities, this workflow has proven very valuable because, say, for example, I have to generate pier volume alone rather than the entire bridge. I can do that. Even inside of Civil 3D, you have the option of importing the IMX file as a bridge. So what happens is once you select this, there is now a separate bridges category inside your tool space. If you've noticed, there is a new bridge category that has come inside of Civil 3D. So this gives you control specifically to the bridge itself. We don't need to worry about the entire corridor from InfraWorks that used to be coming in earlier. If you remember the old timers, if you remember the way earlier the bridge module used to work, we used to just design the bridges between two the corridor regions. Now this is the same kind of terminology that has come, and it gives us greater control over the visibility of various elements of the bridge as well. So bringing these bridges in the profile view for documentation purposes is very useful. So assume that you're changing your profile. What used to happen was like you can need to bring it in. I mean, that changes would not be dynamic, right? So you only needed to export this alignment into InfraWorks and then refresh the model and bring the element back into Civil 3D. So this change, if you bring it inside of Civil InfraWorks, what it also brings in the geometrical changes that have occurred inside of Civil 3D, and also at the same time it helps us update the IMX files for the structure. So in this case, it's updating the vertical profile, right, as we changed. And now, consequently, there are some structural changes that have occurred to the bridge. So this needs to reflect inside of Civil 3D. So it's a matter of just going back to Civil 3D and there's a pop-up balloon that comes up that says changes have occurred in the InfraWorks model. Do you want to incorporate? So as simple as that. So if you refresh this, as you see, you can bring in all your Civil 3D corridors as they are. And as I told you, these changes need to be updated inside InfraWorks. So how do we do it? So again, I will just go to publish civil structures and update existing. I just update existing and leave a note. The bridge engineer leaves a note to the road design team saying that there has been a change in the bridge. Please incorporate it inside of your documentation, Civil 3D documentation. Once you go back to Civil 3D, you get a balloon saying that there has been a change in the bridge IMX file. Do you want to incorporate it? And the notes also come up. So the road engineer knows what exactly has happened, what bridges have been changed. So he doesn't need to redo the entire profile. So right click and just say update, and then the whole design comes up. The same occurs when you come into Revit as well. If there is a change in design in InfraWorks, you get a notification saying that there is a change from InfraWorks model. Do you want to apply? Just say apply, the entire changes are reflected. This translates into a great deal of time savings with respect to change management. So as I told you, there is now a new feature inside of Revit, which has categories for infrastructure specifically. So what this does is bring a whole great deal of flexibility in the way we bring about specifics like pier volumes, deck volumes. It gives us our look and feel of the individual elements can all be seen. So whom does it benefit? It benefits bridge and road engineers alike. So just a little bit of detail as to how visually this changes inside of Revit. For those of you who have attended my previous webinars, I must have shown this. In fact, inside of Revit now, in model categories, there is a specific infrastructure module. So infrastructure module will give you a lot of control over your InfraWorks model. Say in this case, I want to change the look and feel of my piers to maybe the shape or the color or the texture of my bridge. How will I be able to change any one specific elements? So just go to any one particular element model category, and then apply the styles for that particular category. In this case, I'm changing the color of the piers. Now you can bring in InfraWorks models and be able to detail out inside of Revit as well. Not only this, in terms of quantification as well, you can schedule the quantities for specific elements. Now, bridge engineers happen to like this part, having control over specifics. How much do the piers volumetric come up to? What is the measurement of the piers, and what station do they come at? So the volumetrics or the geometrics or annotation for that matter helps a great deal to the bridge engineers. So the Revit piece or the enhancement for model categories which has been included comes in as a boon to bridge engineers. So I would suggest all the bridge engineers on deck to fully utilize this functionality, start experimenting based on this. So ideally, as I told you from my earlier presentation, if those of you have noticed, I've always professed this data exchange and collaboration between bridge engineers and design engineers like road and rail engineers. So there are two primary products in play here when you consider bridge design. So first is the road and rail engineer does the design alignment. He passes the drawing or IMX file to InfraWorks. As I told you, I would suggest PWG import. The bridge engineer models the bridge and then exports the bridge back to the civil engineer. Now the civil engineer will bring it in the form of IMX, as I showed you, as just a bridge model. He imports the bridges, and from this point onwards, both start the parallel process of developing documentation and detailing. So the bridge engineer projects the bridge in profile view for further documentation. in plan profile view, and the bridge engineer exports the bridge from InfraWorks to Revit. After this, both of them start generating their production drawings. Ideally, it has to be in tandem. What used to happen was, earlier bridge engineers would wait for the inputs from the design engineers, and then wait it out. I saw that structural engineering workflows are the last to complete. There's a lot of pain points with respect to change management. So what we've done with respect to help changing design changes is, once the road engineer or rail engineer changes the design alignment. Sorry, I think I need to just turn on. Yeah. So once there is a change in design, it's as simple for the bridge engineer to refresh the drawing. Okay. And then if the change in InfraWorks occurs in the bridge, it's a matter of refreshing the IMX file. So it is a simple change. Either refresh the drawing when it comes to the bridge engineer, or refreshing the IMX file when it comes to the highway engineer. If they understand these two things, it becomes very easy. So coming to the next big thing, which is what is new in Civil 3D. Well, it might not appear a lot. If I were to put it under feature enhancements, it would just say design efficiency updates, collaboration and data exchange updates, as you've seen inside of InfraWorks as well, and other. It may not be sound like a large deal, but if I show you the next few set of things, it will bring in a great deal of work for you. So the first thing, as I already told you, it is bridge interoperability. So interoperability, it's a kind of a tongue twister. So do not treat this as the same exact video, but we will look at it from a civil engineer standpoint. When you bring in an IMX file, you bring it as a specific element, as a bridge, right? So you have better control on that specific element. If you see on the left-hand side, if in the tool space, there is bridges there, and there is a plus mark to indicate there is a bridge added inside of this model, or there are bridges inside of this model. So what helps the highway engineer is bring in great deal of documentation details. So assume that there has been change in the design with respect to the InfraWorks bridge model. Even the structural changes that have occurred inside of Revit and InfraWorks can come automatically inside of Civil 3D. So that is a great deal. If you really want that level of detail, I've seen civil engineers wanting lesser details in terms of documentation. You can opt for that. So coming to the third part, the second part, which is ArcGIS connector enhancements. Now, I really do not know how many of you may have used this feature. This is a great deal, a big deal for owners and operators. So assume you're designing a sanitary network here, and as an owner, like you want it to be published onto a domain to be seen in public. So you publish it to arcgis.com as GIS elements. Earlier, what used to happen was we wouldn't have all the controls on all the parameters that are coming in from the utility design or the pipe design. In this case, start elevation, end elevation, start inverter, end invert are very key factors for owner operators to have a look at what level the utility lies. So this new feature will give you greater flexibility of what specific elements you can bring inside of ArcGIS and be able to stylize the view inside of ArcGIS. I would strongly suggest for those who have not used the ArcGIS connector for Civil 3D or InfraWorks, use it. It is, first of all, it is a fun thing to use. For engineers who don't have any idea about GIS, it is a fun thing to start off learning. So it is used a great deal by planners and utility design engineers, but without a single command knowledge about GIS, you can now know how to convert your BIM objects, that is your pipe networks, into GIS objects. that is another big thing that is happening in the industry today. More and more owners and operators are asking for BIM and GIS integration. So this needs to be utilized to the fullest extent. So as I told you, in Civil 3D, it may not have been, looked at as a great deal in terms of enhancements, but I would say it is a fantastic thing to do when it comes to pressure pipe enhancements. Let us go through some of them. So coming to pressure pipe networks, now we have the option of having layout runs in water pressure pipe network. Say, for example, there's a water pipe network, there's a main line, there's an ancillary line, there is a sub-ancillary line. Things like this can be controlled better. Now, once you change the alignment of the pipe network itself, now pressure pipe networks automatically update the elbow joints as well. There's another enhancement, which is a great thing inside of Civil 3D. You can underlay a pressure pipe network with respect to any surface. In this case, the blue line that you see on top is the design surface. If there is any change to the design surface, the corresponding levels for pressure pipe networks also change. And there's one more thing that has changed greatly. Creating pipe lowerings. Now, if there was any other pipe crossing at that particular location, used to do a 3-4 step process. Now it is just a one click away. Apart from that, you have the automation of being able to add joints or appurtenances automatically inside of pipe network or pressure pipe. Here you will be able to create pipe networks from objects. In this case, center line of the road, you'll give an offset to the center line of the road and be able to update the designs with respect to the pipe joints. And the last but not the least in terms of pressure pipes is the ability to be able to bend the pressure pipes at a particular allowable angle. So even now the manufacturers are looking at pipe bends rather than multitude of joints or elbows. So you can utilize this. So that is great news for utility engineers, because these things that you've seen inside of 2021 Civil 3D creates a lot of automation with respect to design when it comes to automation of elbow joints, automation of profile views, sticking to a specific design profile. All this can help utility engineers a great deal. So coming to Civil 3D Dynamo nodes. So again, I wanted to find out whether all of you are utilizing Dynamo for Civil 3D. If not, I also have an upcoming webinar on Dynamo for Civil 3D, which all of you can join. The Dynamo for Civil 3D is being touted as the next big thing for BIM modelers and civil engineers alike, because the kind of time savings or flexibility that Dynamo gives to Civil 3D is phenomenal. Dynamo, for those of you who do not know, is a visual programming tool which helps automate certain tasks inside of Civil 3D. If I were to give you an example, placing light poles all along a road, or placing retaining walls all along a road, things like that, or automating labels. So all this was there earlier, but in bits and pieces. Going forward in Civil 3D 2021, we see that new Dynamo nodes have been added to Civil 3D to further enhance the design automation aspect. So you can create multi-line text labels at one click of a button, which used to take us a lot of effort before. So not only that, you can create, now you have additions for including COGO points. So at specific BIM object locations. Not only this, you'll be able to add property set data to objects inside of Civil 3D. This has got a great value in terms of asset management. Owners and operators look forward to this because they know what objects are lying there and what are the property sets that are assigned to that particular object or element. And with the Civil 3D toolkit, what you will be able to is also bring in a whole lot of design automation in terms of labeling or annotation. So in this case, if I want to label all the objects, Civil 3D objects, and bring a legend to it, you can bring it in. And for those of you who are already using Civil 3D pipe networks, you know that to change any part, you need to right click on it and go to right click and change swap part. This can be automated inside of Dynamo for Civil 3D. Not only that, complex shapes and structures like this, in this case, a parking lot or a building pad that you see here, you can have surfaces generated, volumes generated out of this in no time inside of Dynamo for Civil 3D. Of course, there are some things that even I need to experiment, specifically the last part that I showed you. If you're keen on visual programming, if you're keen on visual programming, I would suggest utilizing this Dynamo interface as well. Lastly, the Dynamo player. So the Dynamo player gives you a flexibility of having having to automate some of the tasks inside of Civil 3D. Now, if you want to align a particular block inside of Civil 3D, it's just a matter of selecting it, selecting the spacing, overall width and size and scale, and then the rotation, it occurs. So you're creating arrays. Here in this case, you're seeing how automatically we're able to change the pipe sizes in one go. Imagine if you've got tens of kilometers of pipe network and you want to change the sizes, how difficult it would be. So in this case, the Dynamo player also automates certain tasks such as crash barriers, light poles, intermittent elements such as signboards. And for people who are designing urban roads, the ramps, on and off ramps that you see in front of properties can also be automated. Civil 3D, once using Dynamo Player, if you happen to, let me pause this a bit, if you see this, once you create certain objects along a Civil 3D corridor, and then you assume that you're changing the alignment for the corridor to update, right? The objects that have been created using Dynamo will still remain, but it will remember, it works on the kind of remembrance of alignment, right? The alignment has been changed. It's just a matter of getting the alignment refreshed inside of Dynamo Player to change the objects which have been aligned alongside of Dynamo as well. So it has this remembrance theme wherein it knows what alignment it is linking to. And then once you play it, you have different elements that you're working with. And then you can bring about the changes. So whom does it help? All disciplines. It helps bridge engineers. It helps structural engineers. It helps utility engineers. It helps road and rail engineers alike. So if there are any BIM modelers on this call, if you are keen on visual programming, I would suggest strongly to move to Dynamo for Civil 3D because as the projects increase, right, we only are able to automate things. And there are certain things like this change management, which is a great deal in the industry today. I see structural engineers struggling to bring about the changes that they do because all of the processes are 2D and are disconnected. So they face a great deal of pressures when it comes to deliverables. So I would suggest bringing in the power of Dynamo to be able to automate certain tasks and help you save precious time. Just imagine all these tasks were done manually, whatever I've shown today, it would cost them a great deal. So think that's from the new feature standpoint, that's it from my side. I'm almost at the end of the presentation. Do you have any questions? You can keep your questions coming in. I'll set aside another 5 to 10 minutes for the questions that might come in and answer them. Civil 3D in 2021. It's all available in 2021. Yes, Ranvijay Singh. Ranvijay Singh is asking me whether all of the features that I'm showing are available inside of 2021. Yes, it is available in 2021. Ranvijay Singh, from which company do you belong to? And what is your discipline in terms of work? Are you a design engineer? Are you a structural engineer? I'm open to questions if there are. Are there any other questions coming in? Use the window Q&A, the questions window to post your questions. So I would urge each one of you to start using the 2021 features. If you're a highway engineer or road design engineer or bridge engineer in this, in this lot, I would strongly propose whatever I've shown inside today. I am to be, imbibed into your workflows. It will make your life a whole lot easier. I see questions coming in. Let me try to answer them one after the other. I am a land surveyor from Tractbell Engineering. Okay, Ranvijay. Okay. What system configuration does one need to efficiently use Civil 3D and InfraWorks and Revit? See, Kaustubh, I would suggest at least a 32 GB machine with a multi-core processor, at least an i5, okay, or an i7 processor. Mainly, you will have to look at the graphics card configuration. If you have 32 GB of RAM, you must have at least 1/4 of that for your graphics card RAM. So it comes to around 8 GB. 8 GB needs to be your RAM for your graphics card. Ideally, I would suggest NVIDIA for this. Vivek, if possible, can you share the recording of this session? Sure, Trupti, I will share the recording of this session with you. Does InfraWorks have segmental bridge feature in the new version? Prathamesh, I do not understand the segmental bridge feature. Can you give me more details on the same? See, when you bring in InfraWorks models, it already knows the elements which are coming in from InfraWorks: bridge deck, girders, piers, bearings, pile caps, piles, things like that. So if you really want more specifics on that, do let me know. Can I get a recorded video? I missed the training. Sure, Tashin, I can send out the recording. You can leave a comment so we can send out the recording of this. Shubham asks me, can you please explain about ArcGIS in short? I missed that webinar in part. Okay, ArcGIS. There is, Autodesk and ESRI have come into a partnership. This partnership, it says, brings in BIM objects and GIS objects together. So if you're designing anything in Civil 3D or InfraWorks or Revit, it is a BIM object because it's a 3D model. So to be able to convert that into where that model lies in the geographical space, that is GIS. So where does my 3D model lie in the real world? So the ArcGIS connector brings in a seamless workflow in which you are able to convert your BIM objects into GIS objects. Say, for example, pipe networks, road networks, Civil 3D parcels, and things like that can be converted to GIS objects now. That is very seamless. Or you can bring in GIS objects and convert them into BIM objects also. Do we have, Nilesh asks, do we have to store files in BIM 360 to use all the features collectively across all departments, or we can store data on premises? See, ideally, Nilesh, now with the advent of Civil 3D Civil 3D collaboration for BIM 360, you can store all your files, Civil 3D files, Revit files, your InfraWorks files, all on BIM 360 and be able to effectively collaborate. I would strongly suggest that. Okay. So, Prathamesh got his answer, I believe. Yes, Prathamesh, now InfraWorks models can come inside of Revit as specific segmental bridge elements, such as bridge decks, girders, piers, and so on. How can it help an execution engineer who is not into designing? Well, Asif, this is primarily all the changes that have occurred here, or the changes that I've shown here, are primarily on the design front. I agree, but when you consider bringing these elements into BIM 360, like Nilesh asked, right? Nilesh asked me, can everything be stored in BIM 360? If you store all the files in BIM 360, you as a execution engineer will be able to access the design files, latest design files, anywhere, anytime. So that itself gives you a great strength of accessing data. You can access it on your mobile, you can access it on your tab without having to carry any drawings. So you also know what is the latest version of the files, whether it's Civil 3D or whether it's Revit file, you know the latest version of the file which you're accessing. So that is a great deal for execution engineers. Okay, segmental bridges like the ones used in metro construction. Yes, it can be created, Prathamesh, using a combination of Revit, InfraWorks, and Dynamo. It can be possible. Require recorded video. Sure, Nilesh, you can get the recorded video. Please send the recording of this webinar. Okay, great. You found it useful. I'm really happy that you found it useful. When it will start, Omkar, it is already ended. Webinar is already ended. Myself, Ranvijay Singh, I'm from Tractable Engineering and a land surveyor. Great to know, Ranvijay. So for, I believe for land surveyors, it may not be a great deal, but if you're working on GIS elements, definitely there are some good enhancements. Does InfraWorks have a feature to add piers at certain chain edges or coordinates, or it relies on Civil 3D for this? No, InfraWorks has the capability to add certain piers at certain chain edges. You can do that. You can do that inside of InfraWorks, not in Civil 3D, Prathamesh. Yeah, okay, great. Asif found it helpful. Is there any new features for building designers? Well, Bismaya, this was primarily for the infrastructure, what's new. You can also look forward to what's new in building aspect. There is a whole lot of things for building designers. There is a lot more things coming in from advanced steel into Revit. There are a lot more things on analytical aspects, MEP aspects. There are many things that are coming inside of Revit as well as enhancements. When will the webinar start? Omkar, the webinar started at 11 a.m. today. I've already ended this. I'm interested in AutoCAD and Civil 3D. Sure, Ranvijay. You can leave your contact details. Our people will reach out to you and also provide the best value to you as a land surveyor to how Civil 3D can make it easier for you. Of course, there are some core elements. Civil 3D has always been very land surveyor friendly. You can bring in LiDAR information, you can bring in point cloud information, you can bring in total station information, all that can be automated inside of Civil 3D. So if that is all, I think that's the end of the questionnaires. If you have any more questions, you can leave them in the question box. I still have a minute to go and I can end this webinar.
So we'll quickly run a poll as well.
Sorry about that. Yeah, sorry about that. I totally forgot. So thanks, Abhilash. So at the end of this webinar, I think Abhilash has already triggered this poll for the webinar. The poll is open now. If you see on your windows, please feel free to start polling. Your feedback will be very important to us. And going forward, we will also know how to pace out our presentations, how to bring in more useful information for you. And the polling is open for the next 1 minute. Please feel free to start voting.
So 20 seconds to go.
So
Last 5 seconds.
All of you, I suggest, please vote it in, because we, it proves very valuable to us to bring in more content which is relevant to the whole wide range of profiles that you come from.
We have the second poll question, and you have 1 minute to vote for this.
Yeah. So we have the second poll question coming in. I see another question coming in. Is there any, while the poll is on, is there any resource available to learn Dynamo for Civil 3D? Yes, Jignesh, it is available. What are the possibilities of artificial intelligence being integrated with Revit? Well, there is an element of generative design which has come into Revit in the 2021 version. You can explore that. I think we have what's new feature, feature webinar specifically for that, Anand. You can look forward to that. Civil 3D and InfraWorks tutorials are limited. If Autodesk can share a series of tutorials, will be helpful. Dilip, InfraWorks has about 400 specific videos to learn InfraWorks alone. Civil 3D, notwithstanding Civil 3D, right? Notwithstanding Civil 3D, which also has several videos, video tutorials, or document-based tutorials available. I would suggest Lynda, LYNDA.org. Sorry, it was earlier known as Lynda. Now it's LinkedIn Learning. If you have access to LinkedIn Learning, please enroll for that. And you get a 1 month free trial for LinkedIn Learning. All the contents and data sets are there. Is Civil 3D software useful for architectural design? Yes, absolutely, Jeetal. Because the first thing that starts off for your building design is your land planning, right? Your leveling of your ground and preparing of your landscaping. Civil 3D comes in helpful when it brings in ground models. Where can we get recorded videos from YouTube channels? Well, you'll have to look it up. I have no clue on that, Visheshwara.
So Vivek, for all these recordings on the webinar, right? You can view this at Autodesk India YouTube channel. So all these sessions will be uploaded on Autodesk India YouTube channel.
Okay, so for those of you looking for the webinar recording of this particular session, Autodesk India YouTube channel, there you can get your content from there. Autodesk India YouTube channel, you can search for it, right, Abhilash?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. Autodesk India YouTube channel are the search words. You can get the recording of this webinar from there. Any data sets available for InfraWorks, Civil 3D to Revit? Visual, well, you'll have to work it up. I will see if I can get some data sets for that. Ideally, it's pretty simple. Bringing in InfraWorks bridges into Revit, it shouldn't require a specific data set per se. Okay, I think that's about the end of it. If all of you have voted effectively, I really thank one and all. And please do consider the 2021 versions of Civil 3D, InfraWorks, Revit, to be able to optimize your design workflows as well. Thank you and have a great day.